very good evening and welcome to the news tonight here on Rajya Sabha TV, where we get you the day's top stories from India and across the world. I'm Tracy Shilchi. In the next 30 minutes, I'll be getting you all of that. But first, the headlines. Enforcement Directorate moves against businessman Vijay Mallya, asks the External Affairs Ministry to revoke his diplomatic passport. Jammu and Kashmir Chief Minister Mehbooba Mufti meets Defence Minister Manohar Parrikar, seeks a time-bound inquiry into the Handwara firing incident. Kerala Chief Minister Oomen Chandy calls the Puttingal temple fire tragedy a national calamity, says the state government is ready for a CBI probe. Bombay High Court takes a stern view of IPL matches in drought-hit Maharashtra, asks the BCCI to shift all matches after the 30th of April out of the state. And Panama police conduct search operations at the headquarters of law firm Mossack Fonseca. Tax officials from over 24 countries set to meet in Paris to initiate a global inquiry. But first, the inquiry that's on in India. The Enforcement Directorate is trying to step up the pressure against businessman Vijay Mallya, who has missed, in fact, his summons thrice in the past. The investigating agency has asked the External Affairs Ministry to revoke his passport now. And officials say that this could be the prelude to initiating more steps to make the Mallya cooperate with its investigation.
Days after businessman Vijay Mallya failed to honour its summons, the Enforcement Directorate has written to the External Affairs Ministry to revoke his diplomatic passport. The agency alleged that Mallya had turned out to be uncooperative with its investigators. The agency is investigating Mallya for money laundering in the 900 crore IDBI bank loan fraud case.
पासपोर्ट भी इसका कैंसिल होना चाहिए. सरकार सब तरह का तंत्र हाथ में रहते हुए वो चला गया है, इसलिए सरकार जब तक उसको वापस नहीं लाएगी तब तक जो साख है और जो अभी एक्शन इनिशिएट किया गया इनकी सच्चाई तभी सामने आएगी.
Rajya Sabha member Mallya left the country for UK on 2nd of March using his diplomatic passport. The ED said despite Mallya being provided fresh dates for personal appearance thrice, he has not cooperated with them.
It is too late and too little. Mr. Vijay Mallya left the country when he was under the notice of the ED with the consent of the BJP leaders. The previous day he was leaving Delhi, he was with the BJP top leaders, and that was known to all. And this action, too late, is not going to be enough for the major crime in which he is involved.
Once Mallya's passport is revoked, the ED can get a non-bailable warrant and a red corner Interpol notice also issued against him. The businessman has to also comply with the Supreme Court order to disclose all assets owned by him and his family in India and abroad by 21st of April. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
In more news, Jammu and Kashmir Chief Minister Mehbooba Mufti today met Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Defence Minister Manohar Parrikar in New Delhi. In her meetings, Mehbooba Mufti raised the issue of the Handwara firing incident. She also sought a time-bound inquiry into the firing, saying that it will act as a deterrent.
Jammu and Kashmir Chief Minister Mehbooba Mufti sought a time-bound inquiry into the Handwara firing incident in her meeting with Defence Minister Manohar Parrikar. 3 people were killed in the incident on Tuesday. Mehbooba hopes an inquiry will act as a deterrent.
बहुत अनफॉर्चुनेट है, ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए था. और मैंने कल जनरल हुडा जो हमारे वहाँ के चीफ हैं उनसे बात की और आज मेरी फॉर्चुनेटली डिफेंस मिनिस्टर से भी बात की. उन्होंने मुझे पूरा एश्योरेंस दिया कि इसमें इंक्वायरी होगी, जो इसमें रिस्पॉन्सिबल होगा उनको सजा दी जाएगी और एट द सेम टाइम जो फैमिली है, काफी गरीब लोग होते हैं, उनको भी पूरी तरह से कंपनसेट किया जाएगा.
2 young men and a woman were killed in Handwara when security forces opened fire to disperse a stone-pelting mob targeting their bunker. This followed reports that some army personnel had allegedly molested a girl, but police investigations have revealed the original report to be fabricated. The army also has ordered an inquiry while the police registered a criminal case.
The matter is being investigated. Anybody found guilty shall be dealt severely as per law. जो वीडियो हमने रिलीज किया है उस पर गौर करे तो ये उभर के आता है कि कोई मोलेस्टेशन केस नहीं था और ये इट्स एन मलाफाइड इंटेंट बाय सम एलिमेंट्स टू malign the good image of the Indian Army.
Meanwhile, restrictions were imposed in parts of Srinagar and Kupwara districts to thwart protests against the killing of the 3 people. Separatist groups also called for and enforced a shutdown in Srinagar. Most of the shops, business establishments and petrol pumps were shut. Public transport was off the roads even though private cars, cabs and auto rickshaws were seen plying. NASI was also suspended on Wednesday for mishandling the law and order situation. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
And now let's head down south with the death toll in the Kerala temple tragedy has risen to 113. A 14-year-old boy became the youngest victim of the tragedy after dying of his injuries yesterday. Meanwhile, 7 more office bearers of the Puttingal Devi Temple Trust surrendered even as Kerala Chief Minister Oommen Chandy requested the centre to immediately declare the temple tragedy as a national calamity. Chandy also called for an all-party meeting tomorrow to reach a consensus on formulating a policy to restrain fireworks celebrations. Briefing the media, he said that his government was not opposed to any kind of probe, including a CBI one, on which the High Court had sought suggestions.
For that purpose, നാളെ 2 മണിക്ക് ഓൾ പാർട്ടി യോഗം വിളിച്ചിട്ടുണ്ട്. മുഖ്യമായും തുടർന്നുള്ള വെടികെട്ട് സംബന്ധിച്ചിട്ടുള്ള അതിനെ നിയന്ത്രിക്കുന്ന സംബന്ധിച്ചിട്ടുള്ള സംവിധാനങ്ങൾ അതിനാവശ്യമായിട്ടുള്ള നടപടികൾ എന്ത് എന്നുള്ളതിനെക്കുറിച്ചാണ് മുഖ്യമായിട്ടും നാളെ ചർച്ച ചെയ്യുന്നത്.
Now, 2 days after the mysterious death of an Indian national, Kirpal Singh, in a Pakistani jail, the Ministry of External Affairs has sought answers from Pakistan in the case. With Pakistan claiming that Kirpal Singh died of a heart attack, India asked its High Commissioner in Islamabad to take up the issue to the highest possible level. Pakistani authorities, however, ruled out any foul play and claimed that Kirpal Singh complained of chest pain, after which he was admitted to a hospital where he was declared dead. India sought official information in the cause of the death, the post-mortem report and also the early transportation of his mortal remains. The government said that they are still waiting for further details in the case. Meanwhile, family members met the External Affairs Minister Sushma Swaraj and other senior foreign ministry officials. They demanded that the mortal remains of Kirpal Singh should be brought back at the earliest. Kirpal Singh was kept in a Pakistani jail for nearly 25 years on spying charges and was on the death row. He was charged with being involved in a bomb explosion at the Lahore High Court, and the Lahore High Court had later acquitted him of those charges, but his death sentence was not commuted.
तो मैंने इन्हें ये आश्वासन दिलाया है कि हम जल्दी से जल्दी उनका पार्थिव शरीर भारत लाएंगे और जो बात वहाँ से कही जा रही है पाकिस्तान से कि दिल का दौरा पड़ने से मृत्यु हुई है, हम चाहेंगे कि पोस्टमार्टम के दौरान इस बात की भी जांच की जाए कि वास्तव में दिल का दौरा पड़ने से मृत्यु हुई है या पहले जिस तरह से हमारे 2 कैदियों का निधन हुआ है ऐसी कोई घटना उनके साथ हुई है। ताकि जब यहाँ आ जाएगा पार्थिव शरीर तो यहाँ भी हम लोग पोस्टमार्टम करेंगे। एक हम ये भी चाह रहे हैं कि एक जुडिशियल कमेटी जो पहले होती थी, जो यहाँ से जाकर के पाकिस्तान में हमारे कैदी थे उनको मिलती थी, जो उनके कैदी यहाँ थे उनकी कमेटी आकर यहाँ मिलती थी, उस कमेटी को पुनः बहाल किया जाए ताकि वो लोग जाकर के कम से कम उन कैदियों की दशा दुर्दशा तो देखें।
With that, let's take it through some more national news updates in Nationwide. A major earthquake of 6.8 magnitude hit Myanmar on Wednesday evening, causing strong tremors in northeast India. There were no immediate reports of damage to property or life. Strong tremors were felt in Guwahati and Kolkata, where buildings were evacuated. Tremors were also felt in northern India, including in Delhi and NCR region. Nepal, Bangladesh and Bhutan too felt the quake. The earthquake hit at a depth of 134 kilometers. Fresh trouble brewing for BSP chief Mayawati as the Supreme Court has agreed to hear a petition seeking a registration of an FIR in the disproportionate assets case against her. The top court questioned why the CBI had not filed a fresh FIR 18 months after quashing the case. Mayawati's lawyer pleaded that the petition was politically motivated, as the petitioner, Kamlesh Verma, had quit the BSP, after which he was denied a ticket to contest elections. The Tamil Nadu government has withdrawn its interim plea seeking deployment of CISF to protect the Mullai Periyar Dam in Kerala. This after the Supreme Court objected to filing of such pleas in an already decided case. The state will now file a review petition in the matter. Tamil Nadu government had in February 2015 moved the apex court seeking CISF security for the dam, which is currently handled by the Kerala government. The wife of NIA officer Tanzil Ahmed, Farzana Khatun, succumbed to her injuries at AIIMS today. She was seriously wounded along with Tanzil Ahmed, who was shot dead in an attack on the 3rd of April. Tanzil Ahmed was returning home with his family after a family function when they were attacked. British royal couple Prince William and Kate Middleton visited the Kaziranga National Park in Assam today. They took a jeep safari to the World Heritage Site known for its one-horned rhinos. The couple spotted rhinos, buck deer, buffaloes and many other animals. After reaching Tezpur on Tuesday, they were also entertained with Assamese folk dance. The Duke and Duchess will travel to Bhutan now for 2 days starting the 14th of April. Later on the 16th, they will be back to India and visit the Taj Mahal before flying back to the UK. And now let's get you all the election-related news in our segment Verdict 2016. Congress President Sonia Gandhi today addressed 2 rallies in election-bound West Bengal. Addressing a rally in Malda district, she hit out at the Mamata Banerjee-led TMC government. Referring to the alliance Congress had with the TMC in the 2011 assembly elections, Sonia said that Mamata had forgotten all her promises after coming to power in the state. Calling the TMC and the BJP as 2 sides of the same coin, the Congress president said that both Narendra Modi and Mamata Banerjee had lied to the people. She also claimed that a tacit understanding between Modi and Mamata, which is why the TMC bailed out the centre whenever it needed its support. Voting for the second phase of the 6-phase polls will be held in 56 assembly segments on Sunday.
तृणमूल ने ममता जी ने वादा किया था कि वह बंगाल के गरीबों का ख्याल रखेगी, शोषितों, महिलाओं, अक़लियतों को उनके हक दिलाएगी, प्रदेश का असली विकास करेगी। इसलिए हमने उस समय उन पर विश्वास किया, लेकिन उन्होंने जैसे ही सत्ता हासिल की तो एकदम सारे वादे भूल गए। बंगाल में महिला मुख्यमंत्री है, फिर भी महिलाओं के खिलाफ देश में सबसे ज्यादा अपराध बंगाल में ही हो रहा।
And staying with the elections, let's get you some updates now in what we call Polpuri. The Election Commission has censured Trinamool Congress leader Anubrata Mandal for violating the Model Code of Conduct. The poll body had earlier issued a show-cause notice to the Birbhum district president of Trinamool Congress following complaints against him. A censure was issued after his reply was not found to be satisfactory. In the meantime, the full bench of the Election Commission held a meeting to review the poll preparedness for the second phase of the Bengal Assembly polls on the 17th of April. West Bengal Congress President Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary has demanded the removal of Chief Electoral Officer Sunil Gupta and the Deputy Chief Election Commissioner Sandeep Saxena for their alleged failure to conduct free and fair polls in the state. He said that despite the fact that there were pictorial evidences both in print and electronic media, the CEO refused to take action. Expressing displeasure over incidents of violence in the Part 2 of the first phase of West Bengal Assembly elections, the CPIM Politburo too urged the Election Commission to ensure free and fair voting in the state. CPIM has accused the TMC of attacking and intimidating opposition voters through violence. The party also submitted a memorandum to the Commission in this regard so that the mandate bestowed on it by the Constitution was judiciously exercised. Elections are to be held in 5 more phases covering 245 assembly constituencies in Bengal. And the Election Commission appointed special flying squad have seized illegal cash of over 57 crore rupees from the 5 states facing assembly elections, with Tamil Nadu leading the list with seizures of 22.75 crore rupees till now. Assam came in second with 12.33 crore rupees having been seized there. In West Bengal, the figure stands at about 11.90 crores, while 10.20 crores has been seized in Kerala. Puducherry has seen seizures of about 60.88 lakhs. Without a quick break, we'll be back with more news in a bit. Stay with us.
The splendid, grand and massive neo-Buddhist copper dome of the Rashtrapati Bhavan. It gets its influence from stupa at Sanchi. The dome is more than twice the height of the rest of the building. The reinforced concrete shell of the outer dome began to be formed during the beginning of 1929. The last stone of the dome was laid on April 6, 1929.
Welcome back. Let's get you some more news now. In fact, this is related to that drought situation developing, of course, in Maharashtra. And in view of that, the Bombay High Court has asked the BCCI to shift IPL matches out of the state. The court said that IPL matches cannot be held in the state after the 30th of April. Although the BCCI argued that it would incur severe losses if matches were shifted outside of Maharashtra, the court observed that the plight of drought victims cannot be ignored. BCCI also added that Mumbai and Pune team franchisees are willing to give 5 crores each towards the CM Drought Relief Fund. As per the IPL schedule, Mumbai's Wankhede Stadium and Nagpur stadiums are in fact to host 3 matches, while the Pune Stadium is slated to host 9 matches. Meanwhile, IPL chairman Rajiv Shukla said that moving the games at this stage will be a problem, but the BCCI will work on an alternative plan.
हम किसानों के प्रति पूरी हमदर्दी है, किसानों को पूरी मदद करने को तैयार है। बीसीसीआई ने कोर्ट में इसका प्रस्ताव भी दिया था कि हम 60 लाख लीटर पानी भी देंगे और जो आर्थिक सहायता है वो भी हम करेंगे मुख्यमंत्री फंड में, हम देने को उसके लिए भी तैयार थे, लेकिन कोर्ट का जो आदेश है उस हिसाब से हमें वैकल्पिक व्यवस्था करनी पड़ेगी।
Now, the Indian men's hockey team today suffered a 1-2 defeat against New Zealand in its 5th round-robin match of the Sultan Azlan Shah Cup in Malaysia today. After a slow beginning, New Zealand's Kane Russell gave their team the lead in the 29th minute from a penalty corner. Later, Mandeep Singh equalised for India in the 36th minute, but Nick Wilson struck his 4th goal of the tournament to clinch the encounter for the defending champions. India failed to utilise 3 penalty corners in the match as they searched for the equaliser and went down losing 1-2. The Indian team will now have to beat Malaysia in its last group match on Friday to reach the final. With that, let's take you through some more updates from the world of sports in Sports Beat. The Karnataka High Court today asked the Bengaluru Water Board to make sure that no water is wasted during the IPL matches. The order came after the Karnataka State Cricket Association said that it would make arrangements for using recycled water during the matches. India's mixed doubles pair of Pranav Jerry Chopra and N. Sikki Reddy advanced to the second round of the Singapore Super Series badminton tournament. Pranav and Sikki prevailed 21-15, 21-17 over the Indonesian pair of Irfan Fadila and Weni Anggreni. They will now take on 4th-seeded Chinese combo of Shu Chen and Ma Jin. However, Kidambi Srikanth, H.S. Pranoy and Ajay Jairam bowed out of the opening round of the singles matches. Manchester City qualified for the semi-finals of the UEFA Champions League for the first time in their history after defeating Paris Saint-Germain 1-0 in the home leg of the quarter-final tie. Kevin De Bruyne scored the lone goal of the match in the 76th minute to give Man City a 3-2 aggregate win. Real Madrid came back from 0-2 down against Wolfsburg in the first leg to win 3-2 on aggregate through a hat-trick from Cristiano Ronaldo. His fifth Champions League hat-trick allowed him to equal Lionel Messi's record for the most hat-tricks in the Champions League. This is Real Madrid's sixth consecutive semi-final appearance since 2011. All right, on to some international news, and fallout from the Panama Papers rolls across the globe. The police in Panama raided the headquarters of the law firm Mossack Fonseca, and that is at the center of a massive data leak. This comes even as tax officials from more than 24 countries are set to meet in Paris today to initiate a global inquiry into the revelations from the trove of documents.
Raids at the Mossack Fonseca office in Panama, the law firm at the center of a massive documents leak scandal. Authorities say they look for documents establishing the possible use of the firm for illegal activities. With Mossack Fonseca saying it is cooperating in the investigation, searches would also take place at the subsidiaries of the firm. The raid comes at a time when the Central American nation is looking to clean its image of being a tax haven after the papers leak. The nation also urged France to reconsider its decision to put the country on a blacklist of uncooperative tax havens.
El gobierno de Panamá ratifica su posición y le solicita al gobierno de Francia, con firmeza y con respeto, que reconsidere.
Authorities in Peru had also raided the law firm's offices in Lima this week. The leak of 11 million records, the largest document leak in history, shows how Mossack Fonseca may have helped people across the globe to set up shell companies and offshore accounts. The documents implicate scores of world leaders, politicians and celebrities, with many countries probing possible financial crimes individually. On Tuesday, the European Union also demanded greater tax transparency from multinationals, putting forth a new plan to tackle corporate tax avoidance.
That if they are paying taxes outside the EU, in countries, in jurisdictions that don't abide by international good governance standards on tax, that multinationals would have to publish the same detailed information as for a European country.
Meanwhile, close to 28 countries around the world, including India, will take part in a special OECD meet in Paris to firm up cooperation and mount the most ambitious international investigation to hunt down tax evaders identified in the leak. A director rank officer of CBDT will represent India at the day-long special session. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
The excavated skeletal remains of soldiers and artifacts of a US Air Force B-24 bomber that had crashed in Arunachal Pradesh during the Second World War were given a full honors ceremony at New Delhi's airport today before being sent back to the US. US Defense Secretary Ashton Carter, who was on a 3-day visit to Delhi, expressed his gratitude to Defense Minister Manohar Parrikar and the Indian government for their support in facilitating the recovery effort. For the first time, the US military is bringing home remains of missing military members from India. The US is seeking also to recover the bodies of American aircrew who died in crashes while flying resupply missions between Assam and Kunming in China during the Second World War. And now let's get you more international news in Global Buzz. 3 people arrested in Brussels in connection with the last November's Paris attacks have been released without charge, Belgian prosecutors have said. Belgian police arrested the trio on Tuesday in the Brussels district of Uccle during a raid linked to the investigation into the attacks. The Paris attacks left 130 people dead and hundreds wounded. Philippines and Vietnam are considering conducting joint patrols in the South China Sea. Defense officials from both the nations will meet this week to explore the possibility. Ties have strengthened between the two as China's assertiveness intensified with a rapid build-up of man-made islands in the Spratly archipelago, to which Vietnam and the Philippines also lay claim. Russian Foreign Ministry Sergei Lavrov on Tuesday called on China and his country to link up their development strategies for prosperity. Ahead of his visits to Mongolia, Japan and China, Lavrov said that the strategic partnership between Russia and China is at its historical best despite the current global economic recession having a negative impact on the economic ties between the two countries. Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau will offer an apology in the House of Commons on the 18th of May over Komagatu Maru shipping incident. In 1914, Canada had turned away a ship that sailed from Hong Kong carrying hundreds of South Asian immigrants. The ship was eventually sent to Calcutta, and at least 19 people were killed in a skirmish with British soldiers when they disembarked. And that's all we have for you on the news tonight. Thanks so much for joining us.